Did the Longhorns do enough to earn a spot in the college football playoff? Let's listen to Texas coach Steve Sarkisian and what he had to say last night.
We're the first team since the 2019 national champion LSU team to beat 3 top 10 ranked teams in the same season during the regular season. So let's just chew on that for a second. There's been a lot of great football teams that have played over the last 6 years, but we're the first team since LSU to beat 3 top 10 ranked teams in the same season during the regular season. Okay? I think we have the number 5 ranked toughest schedule in the country. We've played the number 1, the number 3, and number 4 ranked teams in the country. Okay? We went on the road to Ohio State in week 1 and lost to them on a 1-score game, and we have the ball at the end of the game, and we outgained them by nearly 200 yards, and no one else has been close to a 1-score game against them. But I think more importantly, it's the message that what do we want to send to the head coaches and the athletic directors around the country? Do you want us not to schedule Ohio State? Because if we're a 10-2 team right now, this isn't a discussion. We're in the playoff. But we were willing to go up there and play that game. And so now when you play 5 top 10 ranked teams in the regular season and you go 3-2, you beat 3 of them, and you schedule an Ohio State out of conference play, I surely don't think we want to punish us to do that. Because what are we all going to do? We're all going to get out of those games, just like a lot of other teams in the country have done. And they've got nice, pretty records right now. But they weren't willing to go play these games at a conference. We're willing to go play those games. I just hope we don't get punished for doing that. And this whole idea that, hey, well, you lost to Florida. Well, the team that played for the national championship last year lost to Northern Illinois at home. So we're not going to you're going to punish us, and you don't want to punish them, but yet they were good enough to go play for a national title. So I have no doubt in my mind that the team we have in that locker room downstairs is a playoff football team and worthy of an opportunity to play for a national championship.
Texas clearly made its case last night. The 27-17 game win over A&M was, it was a double-digit win. One of the best of Sark's career at Texas, in my opinion, and certainly put them into consideration for this. But what are your thoughts? Do you think they deserve it, or is it TBD, to be determined?
I think it's TBD because of the Tuesday college football playoff rankings. I think that's what makes it TBD. I appreciate what Sark had to say, and he gave a spirited case for the University of Texas. He also gave a spirited case for Michigan, who played at Oklahoma, should they beat Ohio State, which we're going to talk about, right? And Miami beat Notre Dame to start the season, even though that was a home game. So other people have played teams too outside of their conference. But I love what Sark said. I love that he stated his case for Texas football, this Texas football team and his program. But I think it's TBD when you look at the Tuesday college football playoff rankings, which we're going to get into some games that matter. But they set themselves up into a tough position right now if about 3 upsets don't happen.
You're talking about the playoff committee in their rankings and pushing Texas all the way down to number 16 after defeating Arkansas, below a couple of teams that, frankly, Texas, if the line in Vegas came out today, would probably be favored over, including a Vanderbilt team that, guess what, Texas beat. Now, those games that you're talking about that are going to happen today, first of all, Ohio State versus Michigan. That's the 11 o'clock game on Fox. What has to happen here for Texas to really have a legitimate shot, in my opinion, is Ohio State has to beat Michigan.
100%.
Period, point blank. Otherwise, the Big Ten will get yet another 4th team in, because you think as of right now, Ohio State's in, Indiana beat Purdue yesterday, as well as Oregon. That would be 3 teams in. Michigan might give them a 4th. If the Big Ten gets a 4th in, it's going to be really hard for the SEC to get 5 teams in, which is what we're thinking right now. Now, the other 11 o'clock game that could have some issues as it relates to Texas is Miami and Pitt. Miami is the highest ranked ACC team, but they cannot, even if they win, they will not be playing in the ACC championship game. So this will be their last chance to stake it or to make a case for that for the committee, and they are currently ranked ahead of the Longhorns. What do you think of those? What do you think of that game itself, Jerry?
Yeah, and that's a significant ranking ahead because they're 12. I mean, Texas is 16. So that's a significant thing. If Miami wins at Pittsburgh, who's 22 and 23 in the college football playoff, is that it would be an 8-4 team in that scenario, just beat Georgia Tech on the road the week before. If Miami wins up at Pitt, that puts the committee in a really tough spot because you already had Miami ahead of Texas by 4 spots. And if Miami wins a road game against an 8-win team and has 10 wins to your 9, even though Texas has played a tougher schedule, is the committee then going to reverse course from the week prior when that team didn't lose?
You'll have to. I agree with you. You'll have to decide. The committee will have to decide: is this Texas's best win of the year?
Yeah,
because on paper it is. The best win of the year for Miami is who? Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Right? Well, Notre Dame's ranked 9th or 10th in the college football playoff. OU and A&M are both ranked ahead of that Notre Dame win.
Yeah.
But to your point, you're leaving it in the hands of somebody, in the hands of a committee that may be thinking completely opposite. All right. Those are 2 games today that we got to be aware of. Right? Then that's the 11 o'clock spot. On the 2:30 spot, there are 2 games that Texas fans also need to be aware of. Tennessee hosts Vandy. Now, Tennessee has 3 losses. Vandy has 2. And then there's OU LSU at 2:30. If OU somehow trips up against LSU, it gives another SEC team with 3 losses, the potential to take that other spot. You agree with that? That kind of interest or that kind of discussion?
Yeah, I think Texas needs one of those 2 things to happen. I don't think LSU is going to walk into Norman and beat Oklahoma with that offensive line, first of all. So Texas needs Vanderbilt to lose to Tennessee. And I know the argument is, well, Texas beat Vanderbilt. What does it matter? Well, again, Vanderbilt's ahead of Texas right now. And Vanderbilt, even though they have 1 loss less, so the committee's saying that matters. So then if Vanderbilt goes and wins at Tennessee, who is in the top 20 of the college football playoff, a road game against number 19 to get the 10 wins, again, is the committee going to reverse course from what they said a week ago in their rankings? That's where this gets interesting. Texas needs Vanderbilt to lose. And then erase that. One of those 2 teams has to lose. And I keep saying Vanderbilt because I think they got a much more difficult game at Tennessee than LSU, coachless, starting quarterbackless, couple offensive linemen, starting offensive linemen down, playing at Oklahoma against that defense. That Texas just needs one of those 2 things to happen, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, here's my problem with if Vandy were to win that game, you're talking about 2 6-2 conference teams.
Yeah.
In the SEC. They played 6-2 in conference, and Texas beat Vandy head-to-head.
Yeah.
Yet somehow, because Vandy played Virginia Tech in the preseason and Texas played Ohio State, we'll see. And like you, I believe that LSU would be nothing short of a long shot, very, very long shot. John Mateer would have to throw the ball to the other team 4 or 5 times, or give it away with a fumble or something like that for that to occur. All right, those 2 games. The night game is interesting too, Jerry. Auburn, Alabama. Now this game is at Auburn, and it's at 6:30. Big game on ABC tonight. Auburn has been sneaky good at times this year when they get their defense rolling. If Alabama somehow gets out on top, I think it's going to be they're going to wipe the floor with Auburn. If they keep it close, you never know how it can go, and it's also a rivalry game. But here's the thinking right now: Alabama has 2 losses. This season, they've lost to Oklahoma, and they've lost to Florida State. That Florida State loss is worse than Texas has lost to Florida. You and I both know it. Let me ask you this, okay? If Alabama loses to Auburn and has 3 losses, Is Texas ahead of Alabama at that point?
100%. 100%. Alabama's out. If they lost to Florida State to start the regular season and Alabama to end Auburn in the regular season, they're out. They're out. And by the way, they wouldn't go to the SEC championship game either, I don't believe. So they wouldn't have a chance to overcome the loss.
Right.
So I think they're out. If they lose to Auburn, they're out. Texas 100% moves in front of them.
Yep. Bama would then be 9-3, no different than Texas. They do have a win over Georgia, so got to give that to them. But Texas has 3 other wins or 2 other wins that probably are better than are not or as good as in the same category as the others, as well as another loss where they lost to a highly ranked team in Ohio State, not a Florida State team. All right, Jerry, all in all, do you give Texas a 50-50 shot at making this playoff? Is it more like a 25-cent? Is it a puncher's chance? I mean, what do we think here?
Look, all I can go on right now is where the committee ranked these teams on Tuesday. So right now, I mean, one, Michigan has to lose, else I think it's done for Texas. That one has to happen. If Ohio State handles business against Michigan, which they haven't much lately, but if they do, I think Texas creeps up into the 30% chance. I still think they need a couple of those teams that ranked ahead of them to lose because, again, I don't see how the committee walks that back. If a team that you put ahead, that Miami 12 and Texas 16 a week ago, if Miami wins on the road, it's hard to do an about face on that because you've already kind of set your precedent in a weird way last week.
It's almost like they put Texas back because they said, "Oh, Texas only beat Oklahoma because John Mateer was injured." Yeah. Now they're going to have to reframe Texas yet again because Texas beat A&M.
Because I mean, they said last week that this is what they said in the ranking last week. Even though you've played a tougher schedule than Vanderbilt and you beat Vanderbilt, you have one more loss than Vanderbilt, so you're getting ranked behind Vanderbilt. So they're going to, so if Vanderbilt beats Tennessee to get to 10-2, they're going to have to reverse course on what they said a week ago. That's where it's tough.
Yeah, that they painted themselves in an inappropriate corner there. So we'll see how it goes. But I think that Texas at least has a chance.
Yes.
Can't give you a huge percentage. I do, like you, think if Ohio State wins, that really puts it in play. If Ohio State loses, Texas needs OU and Alabama to lose, in my opinion, to make it the college football playoff. Yeah. All right, this episode of On Texas Football has been brought to you by our sponsor on Saturdays, Tito's Handmade Vodka. They are also a proud sponsor of your Texas Longhorns, distilled and bottled by Fifth Generation Inc., Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly. Again, that's Tito's Handmade Vodka, a proud sponsor of your Texas Longhorns. All right, Jerry, any final thoughts before we let folks go? We got grades coming up a little bit later from Coach Shipley, CJ, and Jeff Howe. We've got some other I've got Second Watch with Rod coming today. We've got a lot of football to watch today. Any final thoughts?
My thought is this on this subject we've been talking about. Is Texas good enough to be in the college football playoff after beating Texas A&M by 10? Yes, they are, in my opinion, even through some of the offensive struggles earlier this year and defensive struggles late in the year. I do believe they're worthy. That doesn't mean they get there, but I want to be clear for the Texas fans. I do think they're worthy. I just can't predict this where this is going to go because of the rankings on Tuesday, but I think they're worthy of being. They played a top 5 schedule. They have 3 wins over top 10 teams at the time. They beat them, right? And their losses, they had 2 losses on the road to teams that are going to be top 3 in the college football playoff, assuming Ohio State beats Michigan in a couple hours here. So Texas is worthy of being in the playoffs. Problem is we're in a 12-team playoff, so somebody that's deemed worthy every year may not get in.
Sounds like to me you're echoing some of those comments that Steve Sarkisian made at the very start of this video and in his pregame or postgame presser. All right, thanks to you, Jerry Hamilton. We'll be watching football games tonight, this afternoon, all day long to see what happens and how it affects the Longhorns. Thankfully, we have something to watch for because the Longhorns beat the Aggies 27-17. For Jerry Hamilton and our producer, Matt Hutchinson, I'm Bobby Burton. Hook 'em horns.